Won't adjust the schedule so I can attend prom? Back in my younger days, before most people had cell phones, I was working at a fast food restaurant during my senior year of high school. The main reason I decided to work there was because one of my best friends worked there, and around the time I started working, our other best friend joined us. We were very close, and we spent our minimum wage earnings on stupid stuff. This fast food restaurant was the king when it came to burgers, so we had to learn how to prepare a Whopper of a hamburger in no time flat. We also had to learn how to manage the fried foods station, the registers, the drive-thru, all specialty items, and all cleaning and end-of-day operations. We were pretty sharp kids despite being stupid teenagers, and within a couple months we could run an entire shift by ourselves. Normally there were at least 4 or 5 workers and a manager. We were regularly scheduled with just 3 of us and a manager to work all the night shifts, and we enjoyed working together and running the store. We knew the manager was saving money on labor costs, which made the whole store look good when compared against other stores in the district, but we didn't care. We worked hard, had fun together, and made a nearly criminally small wage for our efforts. At the time it seemed like we had made it big. As it tends to do, prom season came around. We all went to the same school, so we all had prom on the same day. Compounding the issue, one of my friends was taking another worker as his date. Thinking it would help with scheduling, we notified our managers several weeks in advance. We were all told no. We found that amusing, because of course we were going to go to our prom. Well, the company policy was that as long as you called before missing a shift, then you wouldn't get in trouble for calling in with an emergency. We timed our calls so that we would all call within a few minutes of each other. The poor manager on shift almost broke down crying, but we felt self-righteous as teenagers often do. I was the last to call, and the manager was full on begging me to not call out sick. We went off and enjoyed our prom. The next day when we went in for our shifts, we found out the store had struggled in our absence. The manager had scrambled to get people to come in on their scheduled day off, incurring some overtime. To call overtime discouraged with that company would be an understatement. Some of the managers glared at us, while some others gave us knowing grins. Within a week, we were only ever scheduled with 2 of us working together. I'm sure it ended up costing the company a lot, but it was also very clear that the management had gotten in trouble for not fixing the schedule when we informed them of our prom. The story does have a happy ending. I met my wife while working there, and we've been together for over 20 years now. Edit. Thanks for all the interest, awards, and sharing of similar stories in the comments. In response to a couple of questions/comments, I felt this was malicious compliance because we kept our jobs by following the policy of calling before missing the shift. My wife was a co-worker there and later went on to be a manager for several years. She loved the work, but the senior management treated the lower managers like garbage, and she finally quit a few years ago. Hotel closest to the middle of Tampa Bay? Gotcha, Chief. This happened February of this year. I had to make sure the idiot that I committed malicious compliance to isn't on Reddit. I am now certain he doesn't even know what Reddit is. Some context. My immediate supervisor, let's call him Daryl, is an all-around jerk. Our receptionist, let's call her Betsy, got a massive butt chewing from Daryl one afternoon. Apparently, Daryl asked Betsy to forward every piece of communication from company size to his mailbox. He had forgotten his cell phone at home and had no way to access his email. This was made clear only after the events that unfolded later that day. We have physical cubby-style mailboxes that no one, Daryl included, ever use for intra-office or inter-office communication. I have reference books in mine, others stuff their coats, hats, etc. in theirs. Our company tries to be as paperless as possible. There's an edict from upper management that if possible, messages, PDF documents are to be forwarded via email. Betsy, as per usual, forwards the docs from company size to Daryl's email inbox like she had done a million other times. Incoming email goes to a monitored general mailbox due to the nature of our business. Daryl blew a gasket when the intern that he sent to the office for various other reasons met him back at the job site saying he had nothing in his mailbox. Late in the day he gathers all of his subordinates including Betsy, who technically isn't part of his support staff. He rips her apart in front of all of us. He says to Betsy, "I said mailbox, not email inbox." I 6-year-old knows the difference between the two. Betsy tries to reason that Daryl should have notified her about his phone being left at home. Daryl's forehead veins are throbbing at this point and he's beet red. He says, and I'm paraphrasing, "I don't need to give any of you unnecessary information. You just follow my directions, ver effin' team. When I say red, I don't mean maroon. When I say non-fat milk, I don't mean low-fat milk." He went on and on with other examples. Betsy was crushed and naturally humiliated. One of my duties is to coordinate travel and accommodations for our team whenever any of us have to travel to meet clients. I already had concrete plans to relocate to a different state and was planning to give HR my 2-week notice in about a week or two. I thought I'd give old Daryl a parting gift. Malicious compliance incoming. I overheard him talking on his phone one morning that he's meeting fellow KC Chiefs fans in Tampa to watch the Super Bowl between his Chiefs and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in Tampa. He scheduled a client visit in Tampa conveniently on the Friday before the Super Bowl. He verbally tells me to book a hotel that's nearest to the middle of Tampa Bay and he wants his final connecting flight to land in Tampa Bay Airport. I said, "You got it, Chief." I smugly asked, "Do you want your itinerary and confirmation in your mailbox or your email inbox?" He looks at me like I'm something sticky that got stuck at the bottom of his shoes and says, "You saw me talking to someone using my cell phone, didn't you?" Me, I sure did. "So mailbox or email inbox?" Daryl, "Email, for F's sake." He then storms out. The next day I forward his hotel booking and flight details to his email, mentioning in all caps, "closest to the middle of Tampa Bay." Remember, email is monitored so the higher-ups, legal department, HR has easy access to our paper trail. I asked him to please respond back via email that the itinerary is satisfactory to him. I get a response email saying, "That's what I said." He is now booked to fly from Chicago to Tampa Bay, the body of water, not Tampa the city, via a national airline that lands in St. Pete Clearwater Airport with a connecting flight, a local seaplane, that will take him from St. Pete to Tampa Bay Harbor. His waterfront hotel of course is the closest to the middle of the bay, a good 20 to 25 miles to the middle of downtown Tampa. Addendum, I had 4 days left when he came back to the office the Tuesday after the Super Bowl. Didn't acknowledge me whatsoever. Didn't make eye contact. Didn't delegate any tasks for me at all. I emailed him the morning of my last day asking him what gives. Everything is okay, right? I told him it's been a pleasure and bid him farewell. No response from him. I was told by my teammates, whom I remained in contact with, that Daryl mellowed out over the several weeks after my departure, even going as far as personally apologizing to Betsy in front of them. Betsy got promoted to my old position. Daryl gave her a glowing review. Believe it or not, no one but the Reddit-verse know about my exploit. Company won't give old phone. Thanks for the new phone. I worked in a small office, of a quite large company, doing administrative work for the sales team that is mostly on the road. Sales rep who all have company phones. Just when I started, they changed the phone of all the team from iPhones 4s to 5s. At the time, they offered the rep to keep their old phones for $20. Forward 2-3 years later, they announced that they would update again to iPhone 7, or something like that. So as I knew that in the previous update they had the option to keep the old phone, I asked my manager, who checked with head office, if I could buy one of the old phone. At the end, they said no. The reason they gave was something like, "It's not fair if we give old phones to some employee but we do not offer it to all other employee." Still, I think that by this logic, it is unfair that the sales rep and the sales managers can keep them, but okay. Finally we got the detail of the phone's exchange, and this time, the rep have the option to keep the old phone for free or to give it back, so we can use as backup phones if one of the new break. So here started my malicious compliance act. I'm helping their manager when the rep comes to change the phone, set up the new and factory reset the old. I casually started asking the rep if they are keeping their phone. I quickly found someone who said no. I replied, so, you are keeping your phone? And the person quickly understood and say, yes, I'll give it to you. A couple of weeks later, my manager noticed that I have a new phone. With a not super happy voice asked, did you take one of the phone the rep returned? No. Who gave you their phone? I gave the name of the rep. Manager was not proud of me, but did not really care. Just wanted me to follow the directives from head office, and well, I did.